Chapter 1. The beginning of the event. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and drop a like. On that unforgettable night in September 2025, millions of people around the world were watching the extraordinary spectacle in the sky. The total lunar eclipse, known as the blood moon, had painted our moon a deep crimson. According to astronomical calculations, this event was exactly as expected, but what happened that night was anything but. At the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles, astronomer Dr. Elena Rodriguez noticed a strange brightness while examining the lunar surface through her telescope. This light was different from normal moonlight. It seemed to blink rhythmically from specific points on the moon's surface. At first, she thought it was an equipment malfunction, but reports from other observatories confirmed the same anomaly. At the same time, Michael Chun, the lead technician working at the Orbital Control Center of the Starlink satellite network, came across an image on his screens that he had never seen before. An unexpected signal flare was being recorded in the telemetry data coming from the satellites. This signal was far outside normal communication frequencies and extremely powerful. Chin's 25 years of experience told him this wasn't an ordinary atmospheric interference. As he began recording the signal, his heart started to race. When he ran the frequency analysis program, he encountered a shocking truth. The signal was repeating at regular intervals with mathematical precision. In the first hour, the signal came in exactly the same pattern every 15 minutes. Each repeat was completely identical, no variation, no distortion. This regularity is a feature never seen in natural phenomena. Chin reported it to his superiors immediately, but the instruction he received was surprising. Tell no one and transfer the data to the secure server. Chapter 2. First Suspicions and Investigations. The next day, retired NASA engineer Dr. James Morrison, who lived in a mountain house in Colorado, began examining the raw data shared on internet forums. With 40 years of experience in space technology, Morrison was astonished when he analyzed the structure of the signal. During sleepless nights spent in his home laboratory, Morrison tried to decode the data using the most advanced signal processing algorithms. The results were incredible. The signal was not only regular, it also had a layered structure. It was as if multiple messages were hidden inside it. The most surprising finding was the signal's source coordinates. Triangulation calculations showed that the signal was not coming from Earth, but from a point on the far side of the moon, about 200 kilometers southeast of the Mare Crisium region. This area is one of the most remote corners of the lunar surface, never visible from Earth and in constant darkness. Morrison knew there was no human-made object in that region. The Apollo missions had never gone there. Even China's Chang'e vehicles hadn't approached those coordinates. So where was the signal coming from? Even more interesting was the signal's frequency signature. According to Morrison's analyses, this signature matched none of the known natural radio sources. On the contrary, it bore a striking resemblance to human-made digital communication protocols. It was as if someone was sending a message using highly advanced technology. Chapter 3. Silence and Official Responses. At NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, senior executives were in an emergency meeting. The tension in the conference room was almost palpable. Agency Director Helen Parker wiped the sweat from her brow as she reviewed the reports on the table. If this information gets out, Parker said, both the agency's reputation and social order will be at risk. People could panic. Security Chief Robert Hayes responded, we've classified the information. Relevant personnel have signed NDAs. But independent researchers have also accessed the same data. In this tense atmosphere, one of the most recognizable names in the tech world made an unexpected move. Elon Musk posted a short but meaningful message on X. Some messages aren't meant for everyone. #BloodMoon, #Signal 2025". The post set the internet ablaze. Within minutes, it received millions of retweets and comments. People wondered what Musk knew and why he had posted it. Conspiracy theorists interpreted this as proof that Musk had access to classified information. While social media platforms overflowed with the hashtags #BloodMoonMessage, #AlienContact, and #MoonSignal, NASA maintained its silence. That silence only fueled the conspiracy theories further. Chapter 4. Theories and Division. The scientific community split sharply in two. Professor Amanda Walsh from the Harvard Center for Astrophysics stated, This is just a known atmospheric anomaly. Magnetospheric storms and ionospheric disturbances can create such signals. It wouldn't be scientific to assume this is an alien message. But Professor Carl Stevens of Stanford University thought differently. I've reviewed the data, he said on a podcast. The probability that this signal is natural is mathematically almost impossible. The regularity is too perfect, the repetitions too precise. Dr. Morrison began sharing his analyses on academic platforms. According to his report, there were structures in the signal similar to binary code. These structures pointed to fundamental mathematical and physical constants, as if the sender assumed the recipient was an intelligent being. The most striking theory suggested that this signal was a pre-planned communication protocol. Perhaps an extraterrestrial civilization had waited for humanity's technological level to be sufficient and then initiated contact. Alternatively, it could point to the existence of a secret space program. Maybe there was a hidden base on the moon. Conspiracy theorists interpreted the situation differently. In their view, world governments had been receiving such signals for decades, but were hiding them from the public. The blood moon incident represented the point at which this secrecy could no longer be maintained. On YouTube, videos with millions of views shared decoded versions of the signal. Some turned it into music, others visualized it as graphics. Each supported a different theory. Chapter 5: The Second Signal and the Big Secret. 3 weeks later, at 3:14 a.m. on the night of October 22nd, an unexpected development occurred. Amateur radio operators and independent observers around the world sounded the alarm at the same time. The signal had returned. This time the signal was different. Unlike the calm and methodical character of the first, this one seemed to have been sent in a hurry. It lasted only 9 minutes and cut off unexpectedly. It was as if the sender was experiencing an emergency. When Dr. Morrison analyzed this second signal, he made a surprising discovery. The signal appeared to be responding to reactions from Earth. Inside it were words from world languages and fragments of internet protocols. It was as if the sender was trying to learn humanity's technology and languages. The most impressive part was at the end of the signal. According to Morrison's decoding, there was a mathematical sequence there, the Fibonacci numbers, the first 50 digits of pi, and atomic numbers. It resembled a universal hello. But the signal cut off unexpectedly. During the last 30 seconds, it weakened and finally disappeared completely. From that day on, even searches conducted with the most sensitive instruments found no trace of it. Chapter 6: Secret Research and New Discoveries. In the weeks following the official non-response, secret research groups formed around the world. Among these groups were retired NASA engineers, independent astronomers, amateur radio operators, and even the covert divisions of some tech companies. In Tokyo, former JAXA employee Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka had turned his garage into a small research lab. While analyzing, pixel by pixel, the photos he took on the blood moon night, Tanaka noticed a detail other researchers had missed. The brightness on the lunar surface wasn't just blinking randomly. It was actually using a very complex Morse-like system. After days of analysis, Tanaka managed to decode the first part of the message. The result shook him deeply. The message contained precise information about Earth's orbital velocity and gravitational constants. This was the kind of information only an extremely advanced civilization could possess. In Berlin, theoretical physicist Dr. Ingrid Müller adopted a different approach. She began analyzing the signal's frequency spectrum using principles of quantum mechanics. The findings were astonishing. The signal exhibited features of quantum entanglement. This is a phenomenon normally producible only in laboratory environments. According to Müller's calculations, the technology producing the signal was at least 500 years ahead of humanity's current scientific understanding. This technology, she told her colleagues, may be using principles we haven't yet discovered in theoretical physics. Chapter 7: Global Reactions and the Political Dimension. 2 months after the incident, an extraordinary meeting was held at the United Nations. In a closed session attended by representatives of the US, Russia, China, and the European Union, responses to the blood moon incident were evaluated. Roscosmos Director Dmitry Petrov said, "If this is truly a space origin message, it represents both a great opportunity and a potential threat to humanity. A unified approach must be adopted. Data from China's National Space Agency, CNSA, complicated matters further. Measurements collected by the Chang'e for lunar rover on the far side of the moon showed abnormal electromagnetic activity near the signal source. This activity showed no correlation with commands coming from Earth. At the meeting, Dr. Sofia Rossi from the European Space Agency gave a striking presentation. According to data from ESA's Gaia telescope, during the blood moon night, abnormal signals had been received not only from our moon, but also from the outer regions of the solar system. These signals were very weak, but they shared the same frequency signature. It's as if, Dr. Rossi said, a coordinated communication network across the solar system had been activated. Chapter 8. Secret Projects of Tech Giants. Around the same time, major technology companies had launched secret projects. DeepMind at Google developed a special artificial intelligence algorithm to decode the signal. This algorithm was attempting to understand the signal by learning all known languages, mathematical systems, and even music theory. Amazon's covert research division analyzed the audio version of the signal at different frequencies. The company's Alexa speech recognition algorithms had detected human-like speech patterns within the signal. These patterns matched no known language, but their structure felt familiar. Meta's, Facebook's, virtual reality division was trying to convert the signal into a visual form. Their algorithms suggested that there might be hidden image data within the signal. Early tests were promising. Geometric shapes and fractal patterns were detected inside it. SpaceX's engineering team was working to pinpoint the signal's source more precisely using the Starlink satellite network. After Elon Musk's famous tweet, the company adopted an official policy of silence on the matter. But according to internal documents, SpaceX's future Mars missions were being planned to pass near the signal's source. Chapter 9. The Third Signal and the Great Shock. On the night of November 15th, an unexpected third signal was received. This time the signal was much stronger and lasted only 90 seconds. But the amount of information it contained was incredible. It was as if a massive compressed data packet had been sent. While analyzing this third signal, Dr. Morrison made a historic discovery. Inside the signal were detailed maps of Earth, the structure of human DNA, and even schematics of Internet protocols. The sender had studied humanity so deeply that it even knew gene sequences we had not yet discovered. The most shocking part was at the end of the signal. There were predictions about future events, climate change models, projections of technological development, and even warnings about natural disasters. These predictions appeared far more detailed and precise than current scientific models. When Dr. Rodriguez received this third signal, she noticed her hands trembling. Because the signal didn't just contain general information, it included the coordinates of the Griffith Observatory, the model number of her telescope, and even a variant of her own name. It was as if the sender knew exactly whom it was communicating with. Chapter 10. Global Panic and Denial. As leaks from the third signal began to hit social media, a wave of panic spread around the world. The hashtag alien invasion trended on Twitter. In some countries, people emptied supermarkets. Stock indices began to fall. World governments activated emergency response plans. The U.S. president convened a national security meeting. Russia put its space forces on alert. China classified all space research activities. In this chaotic environment, NASA issued a very strong statement. At a press conference, Director Parker said, "The conspiracy theories circulating in public are completely baseless. The signals in question are the result of solar activity and atmospheric conditions. There is no extraterrestrial communication." But the statement did nothing but raise more questions. Because only hours later, various leaks began to appear on the internet. These documents contain NASA's true assessments of the issue, and they did not align with the official statement at all. Chapter 11. The Secret continues. Months passed, and the world gradually returned to normal. But researchers kept working. Dr. Morrison, Dr. Rodriguez, Dr. Tanaka, and countless other scientists continued to analyze the signals day and night. What was strange was that nothing came after the third signal. The moon returned to its old silence. Even the most sensitive instruments couldn't detect the slightest anomaly. It was as if the sender had said what it wanted to say and was now waiting for an answer. Michael Chin never forgot those 3 nights. He still worked at the Starlink Control Center, checking those coordinates at every shift change. The non-disclosure agreement kept him quiet, but his curiosity never faded. Sometimes at night, he heard those signals in his dreams. As for Dr. Rodriguez, she kept vigil at the Griffith Observatory every night, scanning the sky. She constantly pointed her telescope at those coordinates. She hadn't seen anything yet, but she refused to stop waiting. Deep down, she knew this was only the beginning. NASA finally issued its official statement. The agency's spokesperson said, "We examined the electromagnetic anomalies recorded on the nights of September 23rd and October 22nd. Our findings indicate that these events are the result of solar activity and changes in the magnetosphere." But the statement fell far short of convincing scientists and the public. There were too many unexplained points. Conclusion: was the blood moon just a natural phenomenon, or was it truly the first message sent to us? The answer to this question may never be fully known. But what happened during those 3 nights left an unforgettable mark on human history. The truth may still be there, silently waiting on the dark side of the moon. And perhaps one day, that silence will be broken again.